We got a new cow. It came while we were gone. There's something about animals that we love. I think it's being around something that's at a slower, stiller pace of life than you, something that's natural, majestic, also absurd and funny, and doesn't care about any of the things you care about. I think that's what we love most about the farm. There's a certain stillness to the animals, to the place, and this new one takes that to an absurd new level. Here, I'll show you. It's right down here. When we were in Tombstone, I saw one of these. It's called a zebu, and I asked the guy what kind of cow it was, and he told me. I had someone find one for us. It's a female zebu who's pregnant. This is the first time that we've seen her. Hi.
Oh, she does not like you.
Clarky, what should we name her?
I just named her Maika.
I'm wondering why there's a chicken egg in there.
Oh yeah, what the?
Ooh.
Ooh, hey, calm down.
She does not like you.
She's 30 inches tall. What? How would there be a chicken egg in there? What do you think, bud?
What is she doing?
So we have one other miniature cow. He's a miniature Highland bull. That's Bubba right there. So we have this cow. She's an Oreo. I forget the actual name. That's just a calf. She looks like an Oreo. And then this is Bubba. Hi, Bubba. This right here, that's Mini Moo. That's our first cow that we ever got. But this is my favorite. This is Bubba. Why? Look how short he is. He's very small. This is Bubba. In one of Seneca's letters, he talks about the idea that he was talking about grief, I think, and he was saying that when a baby calf is taken away from its mother, they cry for a few days and then they go back to normal. And obviously there's, you know, you could get into a whole commentary on the ethics of eating meat, and Seneca briefly was a vegetarian. I think, though, the larger point is that we can learn from animals a whole bunch of lessons about living. And for Seneca, the point was that there's a similar line in a D.H. Lawrence poem. He says, "Never was a wild thing sorry for itself." And so there's something in animals, sort of a strength, majesty, a calmness, stillness is the word I use for it, that I think being around and having on the farm is a great lesson in. Like, the cows just eat, they're happy when they have hay, they're happy when they're around each other. The donkeys just want to be pet, the goats just want to be fed. I remember once I walked out and I could see my donkey buddy just standing there. It was very clear he'd been standing there for a very long time. He stood there for a long time, not even seeing me. And I kind of realized, like, he was just being a donkey. This was his job. His job was just to be alive and not die. It's to procreate, to eat, to keep himself, you know, reasonably content. He wasn't comparing himself to the other donkeys. He wasn't, you know, punishing himself for not being good enough. He wasn't jealous. He wasn't envious. He wasn't ambitious. He just was. And there's a certain lesson in that for me that I think about. Dogs do this, cats do this in a weird way. Cats are so independent, it sort of has a different context. But, you know, they just are. They're just here. And, like, you know, we're not that different. We're animals like every other species. We just think as human beings that we're special. We whip animals to do what we want. Not that I do, but you get my point. And then as humans, we whip ourselves. No one is harder on us than we are on ourselves. And I think there's something about being around animals that reminds you about presence and slowness and stillness and the pleasures of the small things and the little things. You know, the animals probably enjoy the farm and the beauty of it more than I do. They certainly notice it more, and there's something sort of special to that. I'll show you some more of the animals. So that's Jack here. Jack is the bull. This longhorn doesn't have a name. I don't remember why she doesn't have a name. That's Lenny and Carl. That's the brown longhorn. Shelby's around here. One of them was a bottle baby named Shelby. She's pretty cute. This one is really dumb. We don't know her name, but sometimes she'll break into the other pastures and just chill there by herself. So anyways, those are the cows. This one doesn't really like me. See, they're just eating the hay. This one's really skittish. Sometimes let's see. Hey, buddy. See, she looks like an Oreo. Here's Buddy and Sugar. Hey, Lenny. This is Sugar. Hey, Sugar. This is Buddy. This is the one. Buddy can just stand there for hours. He's the most chill thing. Buddy fought off a mountain lion once. That's why you have these. They can fight off predators. They keep their livestock guarding animals. So Buddy fought off a mountain lion. I remember I just came in and he was standing in the barn just chilling. He'd just been in a fight of his life and he was as chill as could be. Hey, leave my shorts alone. This is Sugar. This is Buddy. These two cows were supposed to go to auction, but you know, they had other plans. Funny enough, Buddy, at our wedding, I guess it's 6 years ago now, we had a petting zoo and we had these two ponies there, and Buddy wasn't there, but later we went to buy a donkey on Craigslist a couple years later, and we bought Buddy from the same person who had the petting zoo at our wedding. So Buddy's extra special for that reason. He loves carrots. This is Sugar. She just had a baby. Female donkeys have babies every 13 months or so. And actually Brian Johnson has a great site called Philosopher Notes. He lives like a mile from here. His kids wanted a donkey, so they have their baby. So that's Buddy, that's Sugar. And together they make, every year we just name the baby Booger. And Booger is now with Brian Johnson, which is pretty cool. The new cow is just cute and funny, and the purpose of her is there is no purpose. She's just here. I think it's inarguable to me that the Stoics enjoyed country life, to borrow Epictetus's phrase. We see Seneca spend time at this country estate. We hear Marcus Aurelius talking about, you know, the observations that he made as he walked around in his property, watching the wheat bending low or the flecks of foam on the boar's mouth. These woods over here are filled with boar usually. But I think, you know, the Stoics took time to go out and be in nature, to experience the immensity of the world around us. Seneca said, the whole world around us is a temple of the gods. There's something to that, certainly. And being around the farm is just, you know, just a wonderful place. Marcus talks about the beauty of nature's inadvertence. And obviously, these animals are, especially an absurd one like this one, sort of genetically cultivated, but there is just something beautiful about, you know, the splotches on a cow, that one could look like an Oreo, that this one's 30 inches tall. When we have like a new baby that's born, and then just a few hours later they're walking around together. It's a cycle of life too. I've had to put 3 cows down since we've been here. These are animals that have eaten out of your hands, that you've fed, that you spent so much time with. There's something painful about, you know, having to put them down. And yet this is the same idea that Seneca's talking about. Like, you're gonna feel sorry for yourself about how long you're gonna let the grief go. I remember we had these geese. We got a pet goose when we first got here, and then it was lonely, and then we got another goose, then another goose. We had this flock of geese. Then one day our favorite goose, one named Ryan Gosling, he went missing. And we were sad, and it was like the other geese didn't even notice. And there's just sort of a part of that. It's like, I think one of the things you notice being around a farm is all the wonderful life. And then there's also this sort of looming specter of death. And you can't sort of get too attached. You can't take it too personally. I mean, even the cats, like, you can't keep the babies, right? As much as you might want to, because we only have one bull. And so there's a genetics issue. And, you know, you hope that they end up on somebody else's farm, and we do sell them to different neighbors, and you trade them. But, you know, eventually they get eaten. And even if they don't, they probably die, right? Everything that was born is born to die. That's a reality. It's a reality for animals, and you see it sort of sped up in animals, but it's also true with humans too. And so there's a lesson for that in the farm. So today is fun because we have the new cow, as much as she doesn't like me, but then soon enough, she'll have a baby. And then hopefully we'll outlive her, but we don't know. My kids absolutely love the animals. That's one of the reasons we have them. One of my son's first words was Bubba. That's the name of the mini cow. Actually, here, I'll show you. If you want some semblance of the cycle of life and death on the farm, these are some bones of a cow I had to put down. I think this is a deer or a boar or something. But like, look, just walking, as I'm walking back to the fence, I'll show you. This is, I think, a leg bone from one of the cows, and then the dogs were grabbing it and playing with it. That's just how it goes. Anyways, there's a certain stillness to being around it, but there's also this kind of sobering reminder of memento mori, right? Same thing will happen to us eventually, right? You know, we're not that different than even than a cow. Hopefully nobody will eat us, but what do we care? We'll be dead. Let me show you the goats too. That's Turtle. That's Bucket. That's Watermelon. Turtle is from Brent from Cerro Gordo. He had her here in Austin. He was actually kidnapped, and then he came back, and then Brent couldn't drive her all the way out to California, so he lives with us now. This is Watermelon. We rescued him. Bucket over there. Bucket is our first goat. We had another goat that we really loved named Biscuit, and we'd been here maybe 2 years. Biscuit got out, went over to our neighbors, escaped, got impregnated, came back, had babies, you know, a while later. We called the neighbor, and he had more experience with goats. He said, could you help us? Unfortunately, she died in childbirth. They were huge calves, so I think one of them was stillborn, this whole thing. And, you know, we were really sad. We go to the point about there being life and death. We were really sad about it. And then as our neighbor was helping us clean up, you know, he was consoling us. And then he said, hey, can I have the babies and the goat that it all died? And we said, why? And he's like, I'm gonna barbecue them and feed them to my dog. And you're just like, whoa, this is a different life, man. It's that point of like, you know, you think you're special, but you know, someone will eat you when you die if you're not careful. So this is the farm. I think the idea is that you can see Stoicism anywhere and everywhere, and that's in fact in life that we should look for these lessons. That's what I do. That's why I love living out here. You can see the philosophical lessons, not just in the pages of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, but in, you know, in a cow, in a goat, in a painful experience, in a goose going missing. And these are the ways that the words sort of, you read about them and then you have to experience them in some way. Living out here in the country has been a constant reminder of that. Some very happy, fun days, like today when we get a new calf. Some sad days when we have to bury something or put something down or lose it or sell it. But such is life, such is Stoicism. I'll see you soon. For the Stoics, wisdom was an ongoing process. It was a journey. Zeno said that well-being is realized by small steps, but it's no small thing. So how do we do that? Well, I suggest the Daily Stoic email. You can sign up at dailystoic.com/email. One email every single day, totally free. The best wisdom and insights from the Stoics, from Zeno to Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus and Seneca. Sign up, start your journey. Let me know what you think.